Nobody warns you about campsites. Nobody tells you who parks next to you. He was already there when we arrived. He knew our names before we spoke. He was coughing them before breakfast. I am posting this because my therapist told me silence is a wound that doesn't close on its own. She said write it down. Tell someone. So here I am, telling strangers on the internet what happened the summer I was 16 on a family camping trip I fought tooth and nail against taking. My name is May. I am 16 years old and I was, by every reasonable definition, the worst kind of teenager, earbuds permanently in, phone permanently out, communicating exclusively in sighs and eye rolls. My dad, Raymond, is the kind of man who believes nature heals everything. My mom, Linda, went along with it the way she goes along with most things Raymond decides. We drove our white Dodge van 7 hours north to Pinecrest Campground because my dad had seen it in a YouTube video and decided it looked peaceful. We pulled in just after 4 in the afternoon. The spot next to ours was already occupied, a rusted sedan and a single dome tent, forest green, no car attached. No camp chairs, no cooler outside. Nothing that said a normal person was living there, just the tent. Raymond said people camp minimalist all the time. Linda agreed. I put my earbuds back in. The first night, I couldn't sleep. Not because of the dark. I actually liked the dark, but because I kept hearing something near the van. A faint, rhythmic sound I couldn't place. Like someone dragging a key across pavement, slow and deliberate. I told myself it was branches. The trees here were enormous, and the wind was doing strange things to them. I pulled my sleeping bag over my ear and eventually drifted off. By morning, I had convinced myself I had imagined it. The second morning, I saw him for the first time. He was crouched near the tree line, maybe 40 feet away, completely still. Middle-aged white man in a gray windbreaker, face partially hidden under the brim of a fishing hat. Not doing anything. Just crouched there, watching our campsite. I told my dad. Raymond walked over, said good morning. The man stood, smiled, said he was looking for firewood. His name, he said, was Dennis. Raymond shook his hand and came back satisfied. I stared at Dennis the entire walk back. He didn't look at Raymond once. He looked at me. That afternoon, Linda sent me to the van to grab the sunscreen from the glove compartment. I was annoyed, dragging my feet across the gravel, when I noticed something on the front tire. A thin line, deliberate, running along the sidewall. I crouched down. It wasn't a crack. It was a letter. The letter, ma'am, I pressed my finger against it. The rubber had been cut, not worn. Clean, intentional strokes. I checked all 4 tires, every single one. On the back left, the letters spelled out my full name, May, with a hyphen and what looked like the beginning of a last name. On the front right, partially finished, I could read the first 4 letters of my mother's name, Linda. On the rear right, my father's name, complete and unambiguous, Raymond. The cuts were deep but controlled, made with something sharp. Made by someone who already knew us. I didn't scream. I want that on record. I did not scream. I went back to the campsite and said, very quietly, that we needed to leave right now. Raymond looked at my face and didn't argue. Linda grabbed the bags. We were packed in 4 minutes. Dennis was standing at the edge of the lot when we pulled out. He wasn't watching the road. He was watching the tires. He had a small folding knife open in his right hand, pointed down, and he was running his thumb along the blade. Not threatening, just waiting. Like a man checking off a box. Raymond drove hard for 2 hours before anyone spoke. We made it to a motel off the interstate. Fluorescent lights, laminate floors, a vending machine humming in the hallway that smelled like carpet glue. Linda sat on the bed and held my hand. Raymond called the county sheriff's department. The deputy who answered took a report by phone. He sounded bored. He said they'd send someone to check the campground in the morning. I almost believed it was over. I actually slept that night. In the morning, Raymond went down to load the van. He came back up in under a minute. His face was gray. He sat down on the bed without speaking and held out his phone, showing me a photograph he had taken in the parking lot. The van's rear tire. Fresh cuts, made overnight. Our last name, all 5 letters, complete. The police reviewed motel security footage and found nothing. No one approached the van on camera. The campground visit turned up Dennis's tent, abandoned and empty. No identification. No prints that led anywhere useful. Raymond sold the van 3 weeks after we got home. I don't think any of us could look at it. I am 19 now. I live in a different city than my parents, but I call them every morning. Every single morning, without fail. I check the tires on my car before I get in, front, back, all 4, and I take photographs every time I park in a new location. I installed a dash cam with a parking mode that records motion within 6 feet of the vehicle. The footage syncs to the cloud automatically. I don't camp. I don't sleep in tents. I don't accept neighborly introductions from strangers in parking lots. There is a quote I saw once on a rest stop bathroom wall, scrawled in marker above the hand dryer. The price of liberty is eternal vigilance. I used to think that was political. I don't anymore. If you are reading this, check your tires tonight before you go to sleep. Not because I think anything will happen to you, but because knowing the difference between a crack and a cut, between chance and intention, might be the only thing that gives you enough time to run.